Most of my clients are companies, and that's why I'm usually setting up Kanban boards like this. This is something that makes a lot of sense when we are building a Kanban board for a team. For example, if the goal is to produce a Scrintal video, I can add this card to the idea column and I can move it along through the stages. By the way, if you don't know how to create a Kanban board on Scrintal, please watch this other video. Write the script, record the video, edit the video, and publish the video. And each team member responsible for each of these steps will know that they have to do something because, for example, if the card is here, the person responsible for writing the script or the group of people responsible for writing the script knows that they have to write the script. When they are done, they can move it to the next stage, just like passing a baton to another team member. This is usually great for teamwork, but not necessarily the best option if the person is working alone. For example, sometimes I have an idea and start writing. Other times I just have an idea, write down that idea, and will write in the future. Other times I will write and record at the same time. If it's a topic that I know every single detail of it, I can do it. I can write and record. And if I'm really, really good on that, I can even write, record, and edit at the same time. And in most situations, I will publish right after editing the video. So as you can see, a Kanban board like this may end up adding friction to someone who works like I do. Remember that? I'll soon come back to it. Let's talk about another situation here. It's not that rare that something will prevent a card from moving along the Kanban board. For example, let's pretend that this was at this writing stage. Let's say the person responsible for that, for writing the script, needs to do more research, needs more information, needs more time, and there are other projects, other videos, video B, that can be produced while that first one is being researched in more detail. Many of my clients prefer not to see this card here because this is something that can take a while. And in many situations, what they end up doing is creating a list here to hold these cards until that's solved. And they usually use the waiting word or something like that. Paused, waiting. I really don't like those words because they make this step, this stage, this column feel like it's forever. I can wait forever. It's paused forever. It doesn't matter. So one of my clients once came up with this word because I was telling him, please don't use these words. Think of something else. And he came up with this parking word. I love that because when you park your car, you park it to do something. Let's say you're going to a grocery store. You go inside, come outside, get your car, and keep doing whatever you have to do during that day. Parking has this different meaning. It is temporary, and I love that. So now that you know that a board like this may not be the best option for a person working alone, and that there are some situations where we need to park a car, let's take a look at my 2-lane system here on Scrintal. And in my opinion, Scrintal boards are a great place, if not the best place, to use my 2-lane system. The first thing you'll notice here is that I now have a more diverse board, and the cards will move in a different way. Again, this is built for a single person, in this case, me. And what you see here are all the different works I do. I produce videos. Some companies contact me for collaborations. Some potential clients contact me. I have a conversation with them, but they don't become clients. And I do have clients in progress. There are some other things I do, but I think this is enough to show you. And there's the backlog. Backlog is a concept I borrowed from Agile. In my case, it's mainly being used for ideas, video ideas, and collaboration ideas. But sometimes it may be the case that I can use it for clients. Maybe I see, I don't know, a sign, a store, and I want to contact that company and offer my services. Maybe that can be a space for that too, but mainly for production, video production and collaborations. However, I have to duplicate this because this is a 2-lane system. So let's move this down here, and I'll add text right here. So this is the driving lane, parking lane. Okay, I added some cards here to show you how this works. I have here 2 discovery calls coming up. The first one is with Mr. X, and then we have Mr. Y. But for some reason, Mr. X didn't show up, and I don't know, maybe he'll contact me in the future. So I want to move this to this other lane here, the parking lane, to keep him here until either he contacts me or I contact him and ask if something happened, if he wants to book another call. And then we have here Mr. Y. We had the call and he became a client. I can move it, this card to this other list here. So we have this different dynamic in the board because we can move things up and down, and we can move to the right and to the left. And there's another detail here. The driving lane and the parking lane, they are not a single workflow. For example, let's say a company contacted me for a collaboration and we are exchanging emails, but they suddenly disappear. They are not answering me anymore. Okay, I'm not gonna leave this here because this is the driving lane. This is where I'm actually working. I'll move it to the parking lane. I'll come back to them later, maybe in a week, maybe in a few days, check if they replied, and if they don't reply, I'll decide what to do. Maybe archive this card, I don't know, but I have to remove it from here. What I'm trying to do here is prioritize the work that is actually happening. So I'm producing this video, I am in contact with this client, I'm actually working, but I also have other things that I have to come back to in between the work I'm doing in the driving lane. So let's say I ended up being able to contact Company X and they told me, okay, let's collaborate, let's do it, let's produce a video. But although this is a collaboration still, in reality, I'll be producing a video. So I'll move it to video production. And now because that card is in the driving lane, I know that it will be prioritized over the ones in the parking lane. Okay, that's the dynamic of how I work with 2 lanes, and Scrintal shines here because I can have the 2 Kanban boards in the same Scrintal board, but not only that, each card can hold a lot of context. Let me show you. First, because there's multiple things going on here, maybe you want to add some tags. So this is video, but there's more, of course. I can insert a card. Let's use intro. Remember this card? This is the card in this board here, introduction to Scrintal, the one I used to record the other video. So I have here introduction, I have here Scrintal basics, so let's do that. Introduction, Scrintal basics, and so on. Take a look at this. Isn't this cool? I have all the information I need. And of course, I don't need to do this. Maybe you would prefer to write the entire script inside this card. In my case, I prefer to do something like this because there's a lot of context around what I'm doing. For example, when I'm producing a video, there's research, there are some images, I don't know, I copy and paste information. And the same is true for the clients. Each session I have with a client, I take a lot of notes, so maybe it's not ideal to have it in one single card. So I would do something like this. Thing, July 2024, and that's a card I just created. And here I would take notes, add images, and so on. So I can have all this information linked to this client's card. Maybe this system is not for you. It's definitely not for everybody. But one thing I can tell you for sure, Scrintal is a great place to use it. First, because we have the two Kanban boards, one on top of the other. It's easy to move the cards from the top to the bottom and from the left to the right and vice versa. And second, you can connect that card in this main space, this main dashboard, to all the information, all the cards, all the research, all the notes you have in Scrintal. So in my case, for example, a client, there's many clients stay with me for a long time. There is a story that goes way back in time, and I can connect all that. All the research, video productions, there's a lot of research involved. And being able to see everything in front of us and having this clear view of what is work in progress, the driving lane, and what is waiting, the parking lane, helps a lot, because I know that work in progress is something that I have to do first. In my case, that's how I do it. And then in between the work in progress, multiple works, I go down, take a look on the parking lane, do something there, and then go up again and keep working on what I was working before. Even in companies where we use a board for the entire team, some of the members like the idea of having their own board, and they use something like this, a variation, because this is the example I showed you is very specific to my needs. Anyway, please let me know what you think, and to learn more about Scrintal, remember there is this other video. Thanks for watching. See you soon.